In this video, I will be showing you how to make a cheap but effective post-apoc LARP shield. Materials required for this project include 3M multi-purpose adhesive spray found at the hardware store. You will also require duct tape. I recommend heavy-duty duct tape, but you can of course use fun, colorful duct tape at your leisure. Straps are also required, 2 of them. Doesn't really particularly matter what you want to use for them. Old belts, seat belts, scrap leather, all good. You will also need camp foam. Blue or green is fine. I use this green double layer camp foam because it's nice and thick. For decoration purposes, I recommend spray paint, but you can use markers or paint pens as you see fit. And of course, a nice fizzy drink to round it all off. I recommend Rockstar. I'm not endorsed by them, but please endorse me. The camp foam can be found at Walmart and the camping aisle. You will also require pipe insulation found at the hardware store. You will also require a large plastic lid, not the container, just the lid. At this point, we will begin marking the cutting locations for the slits for our straps. This is the point where we're going to decide if we want to have a more traditional grip, as shown like so, or a scutum grip, as shown like so, with a downward facing strap alignment. Both are viable, although I personally prefer the standard grip like so. Go ahead and take your knife, or a marker. I'm using a knife because I'm lazy, couldn't be bothered to find a marker, and score your marks like so. Cutting will come later. With our slits cut, it is now time to move on to attaching our straps. The straps are now attached. We will now move on to attaching our camp foam to our lid. It's at this point that I realize that most camp foam also has straps of some sort or another, which can be utilized as the straps for your shield. Don't I look like a fool? When you're cutting your shield foam, be sure to cut from the side, not from the center, as that sliver right there will be important later on. With our shield foam cut, we are now ready to move on to our adhesive spray. Remember, when utilizing adhesive spray, give it a nice even coating on both surfaces, both the shield as well as the foam, and wait a little bit until it becomes slightly tacky in appearance before you adhere the two together. If it's too wet, they will not bond well, and that will be a sad, sad excuse for a shield. Speaking from experience. Theoretically, I should have been laying this out a little bit flatter, but I was also lazy. Do as I say, not as I do. With our shield foam now properly attached to our shield core, we can now move on to the edges of the shield. We will be utilizing pipe insulation for this, as shown in the following clip. Cut sections of pipe insulation and begin wrapping them around the edge of the shield, like so. At this point, you will be utilizing your duct tape to attach the pipe insulation to the edges of your shield. Put it along in nice, even intervals along the edges of the shield, and don't worry if it doesn't look terribly pretty. We'll clean that up later on in the video. With the pipe insulation properly secured to the shield, you can now begin to clean it up by taking sections of duct tape and layering them across the edge of the shield like shown. This is a time-consuming process. Do be patient. Make sure that the edges of your shield are fully covered in tape. Make sure there's no empty spots, and we can begin moving on to the front face of the shield, which we will do now. Very similarly to how we layered the duct tape on the edge of the shield to provide adequate coverage, we will be utilizing a similar technique on the front face of the shield. Go nice and slow, make sure that you get good consistent layering and a decent overlap. If there's any exposed foam, elements can get inside, which would be disastrous in the long run. With the front of our shield properly covered, it is now time to move on to the back. Do you remember that section of foam that I told you to hold on to? That's going to be important now. We will be utilizing that as the armrest for our strap. We will once again be utilizing our spray adhesive to apply a nice even coating of spray adhesive to the shield back, as well as to the foam padding that we will be utilizing for our armrest. Remember to wait a good bit of time for them to get nice and tacky before continuing. In the immortal words of Bob Ross, just go ahead and slap the devil out of it. To make your handle, you will be utilizing those straps, as well as some duct tape, and some spare foam, wrapped together in a nice creative way to make a nice cozy grip. Attach the two ends of the strap together with duct tape. You will be cutting equal length sections of foam to go on either side, and both sides will be taped up so that it is nice and secure and won't be going anywhere. Once again, let's make sure that there is no exposed foam, because water and foam do not mix. For the arm strap, we're going to go ahead and utilize a very similar technique. Simply go ahead and duct tape it together, but don't bother with the foam. You can make this as tight or as loose as you want, or if you're feeling froggy, you can make a fastener to allow it to be adjusted. I'm feeling a little bit lazy, so this is what I opted with. Apply a bit of foam to the armrest for a bit of weather protection as well as comfort, and that should just about wrap up this area of the shield. Now that the shield is structurally complete, we can begin to have some fun and decorating it however we so choose. This is where the spray paint, markers, or paint pens would come into play. For my shield, I went with a very simple gold spray painted acronym. That acronym is BLM. Your design can be whatever it is that you want. I like to keep mine simple, but effective. A point of note for the use of tower shields against ranged weapons in your post-apoc LARP. Due to the wide surface area of the shield, heavier projectiles are liable to knock it around and cause you all kinds of grief. My suggestion against these heavy projectiles is to brace yourself as shown. Proper bracing will ensure minimal damage to yourself or those around you. Stay safe and, of course, stay awesome. And so we have come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for sticking with me all the way to the end. I know that it was long-winded, but your support is greatly appreciated. I sincerely hope that this video helped you create a shield that will serve you for years to come. If you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by all means leave them in the comment section below. And if you didn't like any of this, then that's perfectly fine. Don't do anything like that. Carry on your way. Makes no difference to me. Here's our token cat text, and later.